We are speaking with the talented and dynamic furniture designer James DeWulf today. Thanks for sitting down with me.
Of course.
So let's just dive right into your background. How did you come to be a furniture designer?
I fell into it, really. I was groomed for finance by my father, and then I guess, stumbled into mixing concrete once and fell in love with it and never turned back.
I mean, how does one even play with concrete? Was it like a home project you were working on or something, or?
No, I was a real estate developer, and I was
Okay.
building a condominium project, and my architect said we should look at concrete countertops, and I thought that sounded cool, and so I visited a shop. Didn't end up using the guy, but I just at the time thought that it sounded so neat to mess with or to play with a material that was liquid and turned to stone.
Mhm.
And then when I actually moved out to California, I messed around with it and immediately was like, oh, this is so cool. And I was doing little ashtrays and sinks and anything vessel.
When you started doing concrete countertops and concrete vessels, was that right about when concrete as a material interiors kind of took off?
I wouldn't say so. I've definitely had a nice impact on the industry, but I would say the pioneers of concrete as a really serious interior material would be Futong Chang, maybe Buddy Rhodes. Syndicrete was a nice company. There's a guy named David Hertz. But I probably got into the game 10 years after the first people started doing it, using concrete, really high finish, precast, poured upside down type of thing. I'm about 10 years late into the game. Usually the people that do this type of work, because it's very difficult or heavy laborsome work working with concrete,
Sure.
usually those people are your contractor types. And I like doing that kind of work, but I went to Emory. I'm very mathematically minded, and it turns out I love design. I discovered after I started playing with concrete. So we're the one company that I know of that is really design driven, but we also handle all our own manufacturing. So it's given us a niche. And I've played a lot with the boundaries of the material, meaning I really tweak the strength and the ductility of the material and achieve thin pieces that before weren't really possible. And then design-wise, it's fun that because I know I can make them that way, I play with the proportion to achieve something that I find very aesthetically pleasing, whereas someone else trying to do the same thing would make something big and bulky. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Oh, definitely. I was going to ask if you have kind of your own proprietary mix that is like kind of a secret formula that no one else knows.
We do, definitely.
And I feel like I was researching you, and it looked like you really kind of stay on top of what's going on in the concrete world in terms of materials and new technologies. Do you really like reaching out there and just using the newest things?
I do. I don't consciously do it, but just because I'm in it all the time, and I definitely have my finger on the pulse of the technology in the concrete world for sure.
It sounds like the material itself is a huge inspiration for what these designs look like, but do you look to anything else?
You know, it's funny. I do get super inspired. I'm a very emotional person. When I look at too much design, I actually find I get a little too inspired. So I try to not get too influenced by other designers. I never went to design school. I try not to look at too many design magazines, because then I find that you're subconsciously mimicking things that you love.
Yeah.
So when I design, I try to get in a, not childlike, but sketching it, having fun, doing what I think is going to sell or what the market wants.
The bulk of your work, is that custom projects?
I'm now doing about 70% what I call product.
Okay.
Product is dining tables, coffee tables. Sometimes they're customized. Sometimes they're just standard what I've designed.
Mm-hmm.
And then 30% of what I do is custom kitchens, sinks.
How enthusiastic or hesitant are homeowners about bringing concrete elements into their home?
There's definitely a big hesitation in concrete. It's been around since I started 10 years ago. Still out there now. Concrete has a bad rap from a lot of people trying to do it that don't know what they're doing, or people having unrealistic expectations for a product. You know, it's not a machine-made thing. It's an organic, handmade product that has, handmade imperfections, which I see as beauty. But then the way that we feel it is very durable and long-lasting. a lot of people do foam core, fake, weird stuff. I don't even know that either makes it look cheesy or it doesn't perform properly.
Weird.
So there's a lot of people out there that doubt the material because of that.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some bad stuff, but looking at your stuff, I mean, it's kind of sexy, your pieces, I have to say, like that sleekness and that, like you were saying, like being able to get that kind of thin profile. It's really good looking stuff. It's very sleek.
Thanks. I'm glad that you said that. It's funny. I was interviewed a couple of years ago and said I thought concrete was sexy, and I actually got made fun of for that by all my friends. But I do find it to be a very sexy material. Our finish that we're kind of known for has a very buttery feel to it. When I'm at trade shows, it seems everybody that passes by has to touch it. The organic nature of it, and maybe the surface. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but it's definitely a touch and feel material. And then I'd like to think, I'm obviously biased, but I like to think that my designs are sexy.
Well, I agree, so it's okay. No one will make fun of you. Well, let's just talk about the future of your business.
We're expanding slowly, but we are. I'm doing lighting now, mostly out of brass and hammered iron. And then with our tables, we're exploring other materials as well. Obviously, concrete is always going to be the main material I work with, but I love brass. I love stainless steel, pretty much all metals. I don't really work with aluminum much. I find it to be weak, and with time, it doesn't perform like I like. But yeah, I'm pushing all different types of materials and trying to have fun with crazy designs and whatnot.
Are you staying away from wood on purpose?
When I first started, I did a fair amount of work with black walnut, which is a beautiful wood. I do still sometimes work with wood. The real answer to your question is I don't know. For some reason, I really get fired up about concrete and metal, so I just kind of go that way because that's what makes me all excited, and I feel like I really understand the structural characteristics of both those materials, and I know how to push the envelope with steel with how strong and malleable it is. With wood, there's so many people already doing wood, and I don't know. I could make some wood pieces, just not. I don't really know. I have nothing against working with wood. I've done it a bunch. It's just not something that makes me super excited.
Yeah, I think that's an okay answer. Last question. I was just going to ask, if you weren't, making furniture, what would you be doing? Would you still be in the real estate business? Would the finance plan of your father have worked out?
No, I never would survive in an office environment. Honestly, if I wasn't designing and working with my hands and being artistic, I'd probably be under a bridge doing heroin.
Oh, gosh. All right. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Great. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to a Two Modern Designer interview. For more fun podcasts, inspiring design posts, and design advice, check out the blog at twomodern.com.